believe our John came from North Carolina to Georgia after the Revolutionary War. There are several other Langfords, Jesse, Moses, and Parrish, who were listed with John in the taxpayer list of Granville County, North Carolina in 1784. Jesse, Moses, Parrish, and John all seem to have moved down to Wilkes and then Tatnall County, Georgia, about the same time, indicating a likely relationship, probably all brothers, as they were of a similar age. Born Frances Newbern Langford in Lakeland, Florida, on April 4, 1913, to a carpenter, or possibly a building contractor, and his wife, Anna Rhea Newbern, a concert pianist, Frances was already drawn to the outdoors, especially when it came to fishing. "All we did for fun back then was camping and fishing," she said. "I loved it then, and I still love it." After Lakeland High, she took a year at Florida Southern College, but got sidetracked by a career. "I started out just singing by myself," Frances explained. "Then I began to wonder if I could sing in front of people, and would they like me?" She was studying music at college when she had to go into the hospital for a complicated tonsillectomy. She had a lovely soprano voice, but after the operation, she found it had dropped to a contralto, and also then discovered she was singing better than ever. One sensational press release claims that the doctor's hand slipped during the operation and his knife cut too far, changing forever her dream of becoming an operatic soprano. "I look at it as everything happens for the best," she said. "An operatic career would have cost lots of money. Instead, I began singing blues songs with my new deep voice and was suddenly a big hit in school. My mother was a great influence in my life, encouraging me in every way. She was a concert pianist and played all the time. I washed the dishes and did anything else that needed to be done around the house just to get her to play for us." Frances started singing at local Lions clubs and other venues. Her first professional gig was singing on a weekly program for WDAE, or WFLA, for $5 a week at the age of 15. It was sponsored by Tampa cigar magnate Eli Witt. "My dad said, 'The gasoline cost that much to go there and back.' And my mother said, 'Well, maybe someday she can pay you back.' I think I did." In 1930, a Tampa, Florida radio station director heard her sing at an American Legion party and hired her. A year later, Frances' mother drove her down to Miami, where Rudy Vallée was performing. He came bouncing into the room with his shirt tails out and said he'd listen to the girl. She only got through 16 bars of a song when he stopped her and said, "That's enough. My secretary will call you and tell you when to come to New Orleans." Frances recalled, "It was my first trip out of the state. I was thrilled to death." He picked her for a guest spot for his radio show, her debut on nationwide radio. That led to her first radio series in New York in 1931. Another version of her big break was reported thusly. After winning first prize in a singing contest, she attracted the eye of band leader Eli Witt. Witt's friend, Rudy Vallée, had announced that he would be picking his guest star next week in Florida. Witt called Vallée in Miami and asked him to listen into his program to find his find. Rudy did, and immediately asked Witt to send her down to the Olympia Theater in Miami. Frances sang a few numbers for him backstage. Regardless of how her big break happened, Vallée was instrumental in getting her on NBC, personally taking her to WOR in New York City, where she was signed for a year. "I was doing commercial shows, and all of a sudden, I was making money." By November 1931, she was on Broadway in Peter Arno's Here Goes the Bride, which opened on November 3rd and closed on November 7th, for a total of 7 performances. She also appeared